Hello everyone, let's make some strawberry pancakes, shall we?
All right, to make strawberry pancakes is pretty simple. I'm going to give you my favorite pancake recipe. What we have here is a cup of flour. We have a teaspoon of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and a half a teaspoon of salt. Over here we have 3/4 cup of milk and 2 teaspoons of vinegar. Why? To make buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk in the house, that's the secret. We're also going to put in 1 large egg. We're going to be adding in about a tablespoon of vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons of melted butter, and 2 tablespoons of white sugar, along with a little bit of strawberries. These are going to be delicious. We are also making a strawberry syrup to go over them. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get our dry ingredients together. So let's go ahead and put those together. So our sugar, our baking soda, our baking powder, our salt, and then we want to whisk those together. This is doing 2 things. It's mixing it, but the reason we whisk it is it's also adding some air into our flour mixture to make it a little lighter and a little fluffier for our pancakes. Now, we need to work with the wet ingredients and get the wet ingredients mixed in with the dry. Butter, right here, our melted butter into the flour, along with our buttermilk. Don't worry if that buttermilk's a little chunky, it'll be absolutely fine. Our vanilla. And then lastly, our egg. Why did I do the egg last? Because our butter was warm. It was melted, right? So we didn't want to cook the egg. We certainly want to mix the other ingredients in. All right, I'm going to pull the whisk out at this point in time and just mix these up with a spatula. Now, it's okay if you have a little bit of lumps in your pancake mix. The important thing is just to incorporate all the ingredients. Make sure that you don't have any dry flour like that sitting on the top. But don't overmix them, because then they won't be light and fluffy. So once they're incorporated, you can stop your mixing. I just want to make sure that I'm getting every little bit, scraping down the sides of my bowl. And voila. There you go. Now, let's get these into the pan and add in our strawberries. Let's add a little bit of cooking spray into our pan. We've got that heat on a high, getting our pan nice and warm. We will also incorporate just a little bit of butter as well. Here's the reason why we added the butter. So we can tell our pan is nice and hot because our butter is sizzling, which we would not have been able to tell by just the cooking spray. Now, the other thing I like to do is use a ladle or an ice cream scoop like this and drop my pancakes to keep them as uniform as possible. Now, these are homemade pancakes. They're not supposed to look like they're for sale. So what we like to do is we like to drop them, try to keep them as uniform as possible, but don't get hung up on if they're not a perfect shape. If you wanted to, you could use a biscuit cutter or some round object and keep them perfectly uniform, but I think this will be just fine. I'm going to turn my heat down to a medium high now that I know my pan is nice and hot. I want my griddle to stay hot. I want my pancakes to cook. But I don't want to touch them until they start to bubble. And once they start to brown and bubble on the sides is when we want to flip them. I didn't forget the strawberries. Let's go ahead and add a few of those strawberries to each one of these pancakes. Now we're going to be doing strawberry syrup as well. So I'm not going to be so picky about how many strawberries each one gets. Certainly if you wanted to, you could add more. I've got one that's fallen off there. I'm going to pick that one up and get that right in there. All right, let's take a little peek. I see I got some bubbles starting here. Let's just take a peek at the underside of this one. Almost ready to be flipped. Let's just give it another minute. This guy's almost ready to be flipped too. Look at that. Okay. Over they go. Ah, that one wasn't quite ready. A little cold spot in my pan, but that's okay. Still gonna taste fantastic. All right, now remember we made that beautiful strawberry syrup. This is gonna go on the top of it. I wanted you to kind of see how that had come out. We want to get these to a plate as soon as we know they are browned on the other side. All right, let's spoon a little bit of this strawberry mixture over the top of these. Our strawberry syrup. Look how beautiful that is. And we'll add just a dash of confectionery sugar. On the tops. And there you have it. We have our strawberry pancakes. Enjoy.